Do you think there's actually something that they're hiding from us when it comes to aliens?
We crossed all the seas, climbed the mountains. Like, what's left?
Under
Right?
the ocean.
Yeah. And then you go, we do have lots of classified programs. If the aliens are going to visit, you could just have those flying Tic Tacs show up over New York City. They all seem to be around our naval bases. It's either our stuff or it's our adversaries that are checking in on us.
Questions I want to ask you. One being UFOs. What do you think? Are we alone?
I think if we're thinking about the entirety of the universe, there is almost certainly other life out there. I would bet heavily on that. I would bet heavily that there's intelligent life out there. Have they interacted with our planet? I would say the odds of that are incredibly low. You got a couple things working against you. You can't really exceed the cosmic speed limit, which is the speed of light. So when you think about the trillions of galaxies and all the stars and all the planets out there, the odds they would have found us and somehow been able to travel to at a time when our civilization was alive. You think of the industrial age that would give off clues of our existence, just seem incredibly low. So if I had to bet on the UFOs, I'd probably put my Draken hat on again and say it's either our stuff or it's our adversaries that are checking in on us. It's amazing, right? Like if the aliens are going to visit, you could just have those flying Tic Tacs show up over New York City or somewhere else, but they all seem to be around our naval bases and in Las Vegas area. So I think that probably leads me to believe it's something that's human created.
I mean, it's interesting. We see all this disclosure stuff starting to hit the government. A couple years ago, they had the first congressional hearing on the UAP stuff, and they've had a couple, maybe one or two more, I think, since then. But what do you think about that stuff? Is that a big distraction? Do you think a lot of people think that is a distraction, or are they screaming for disclosure? Do you think there's actually something that they're hiding from us when it comes to aliens?
No, I mean, look, I don't want to be dismissive of people's beliefs or hopes or interests. Because look, when I was nominated to lead NASA, I got a million emails from interested people all around the world, people in government, out of government, at NASA, not at NASA, with all sorts of ideas and theories that range from well thought out, good intended, to crazy. That's what space does to you. Like, how can you not, when you look out at you're laying on a field looking up at the stars, and how does it not make your mind just wander? So I think that fuels a little bit of it. The idea also, like, we do have lots of like classified programs, and our adversaries have lots of technology too that they don't advertise to try and figure out what we're doing that we don't advertise. So like my Occam's razor analysis on that is it's more likely in that camp than it is all the miracles that would need to happen for intelligent life out there, which I believe is. Like, I just have to believe it based on the size of the universe, that these miracles that needed to happen to create life are not that unique. That surely would have happened again. But for it to exist, to build a spaceship, to travel at the speeds necessary to show up at this particular time in our history, super low in probability.
So you don't think that there have been beings out? I mean, we hear a lot about bending space and time, and this whole whatever. That's about the extent of how I can articulate it. Is
flying through black holes and wormholes and such like that.
Yeah, you're not buying into any of that. Can we manipulate space and time?
Like, I hope we can at some point, because we're not going to. If our limits are sub light speed, like materially sub light speed, we're not going to get very far, right? So we're going to have to be putting humans in some sort of cryo sleep, and they're going to wake up thousands of years later. Like, that's it. So my point is, like, I want to believe that we will crack the code on some sort of exotic form of propulsion that will take us close to those kind of speeds, simply because we won't be able to explore without it. But I'm not betting on wormholes or anything anytime soon. But I'd love to see us moving in the direction of goodness, like which would be nuclear propulsion, and then kind of evolving from there.
What kind of stuff? I mean, you've been interested in space for a long time since you're a little kid, and
Mhm.
so, I want to go in. What excites you about space? I mean, we hear stuff about this is what I watch. I don't watch other interviews. I don't really watch much of anything. In fact, every night I pretty much fall asleep watching something about some documentary about the universe, and they're always talking about dark matter or
Yeah,
dark
yeah.
energy. I mean, what is it?
It's all of that. It's everything we don't know.
You think we can use it?
It's, I mean, that's like if the question is like, what is it that, captivates you or interests you about it all is there is so much we haven't figured out or understand yet. And therefore it's intriguing. I mean, I remember, I think it was probably like fifth or sixth grade in geography class and how bummed out I was looking at a map. And it's like, man, we found all the damn islands. We crossed all the seas. We climbed the mountains. Like, what's left?
Under
Right?
the ocean.
Yeah. And then you go and you look up at the stars and you're like, oh man, there's an awful lot left out there, right? So it's all of that. It's all those things that we don't understand. I mean, the same way that like think of us as like in a primitive way of like our ability to understand the solar system, the universe is like, natives, that were carving a canoe out of a log. Like, I mean, that's the equivalency of what we're at right now. So we have no idea what automobiles and trains and airplanes and supersonic travel is in our future because we are still hollowing out that log. So it's everything we might stand to learn that could change, and will change our understanding, is out there. We just have to find it.
I mean, it's fascinating stuff. I mean, in that recent one, they were talking about how, we thought that space was just empty and, it's not in our, visual spectrum that to see is it dark energy or dark matter? I can't remember.
Yeah.
I think it's dark energy, but now they're saying that all that empty space is dark energy. And that there may be a way that we could potentially utilize it, for an unlimited amount of energy. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, there could be like dark matter, antimatter as a form of propulsion that we could use to unlock massive amounts of
antimatter, what's that?
I'm like we are going down a path that is far from my area of expertise. Thankfully, there's a lot of scientists and big brains that are out there thinking about these kind of things. But I think where you're getting at is like when people try and understand the structure of our galaxy, there is clearly something else out there that's helping form the structure that we don't have our arms around yet. But that's like, again, that's what's so exciting about this journey. Just kind of a quick story. One of my crew members from Polaris Dawn was with Kid and I. She played the violin in space. She was raised since she was a toddler to be a classical violinist. And ultimately, she chose engineering and science, and she wound up being hired as the lead astronaut trainer for SpaceX. She trained me for my first mission to go to space, and then I picked her to be an astronaut on Polaris Dawn. And part of it was she was going to bring her violin up to demo this Starlink transmission, where we basically created this flash mob orchestra around the world to raise money for St. Jude. And she is playing this wooden instrument floating in space, and it's really cool. Anyway, I know it's a long story long, but she was since asked to come and perform at an observatory in California, top of a mountain. It's this 100-plus-year-old observatory. And I was like, I'm definitely coming to see it. And this observatory where she was playing, which may be the coolest venue next to seeing her play in space, was where Hubble discovered that there is more than just one galaxy in the universe, right? So not that long ago, we thought it was just our galaxy and that all these stars were part of it. And then through his analysis and his research, he determined not only is there more than one, eventually, there's trillions of them. And every one of those has who knows how many stars inside it, and who knows how many planets inside it, and how many of those are potentially inhabitable regions, right?
We talk a lot on this show about protecting your family and being prepared for the worst case scenario. But there's one area of protection that a lot of us, myself included, for a long time tend to procrastinate on, and that's life insurance. I've had term life insurance for several years now, and I remember the exact moment I realized I needed it. It was right around the time my son was born. I started thinking about the mortgage, the kids' education, and all the expenses I'd want covered if the unthinkable happens, and I'm not here to provide for them anymore. But having a plan in place is what actually allows you to breathe easier. If you've been putting this off because you think it's too expensive or too much of a hassle, you need to check out Fabric by Gerber Life. Fabric by Gerber Life is term life insurance you can get done today. Made for busy parents like you, all online, on your schedule, right from your couch. You could be covered in under 10 minutes with no health exam required. A lot of people assume their work-life insurance is enough, but most policies don't provide nearly enough coverage and don't follow you if you leave your job. Fabric offers affordable, high-quality life insurance like $1 million in coverage for less than $1 a day. Fabric has partnered with Gerber Life, trusted by families just like yours for over 50 years. And Fabric is rated excellent on Trustpilot with over 1,900 five-star reviews. There's no risk. You get a 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can cancel at any time. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their family. Apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/srclips. That's meetfabric.com/srclips. meetfabric.com/srclips. Policies issued by Western Southern Life Assurance Company, not available in certain states. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions.
We haven't even scratched the surface. So like, yes, you're picking on a couple areas that we think we might be starting to know something about, but there is so much that we don't. And that's the appeal.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, even just the vastness. And, I had Avi Loeb on a couple of years ago, I think now, but, we were talking about how everything is getting farther apart. Planets are getting farther apart. Galaxies are getting farther apart. I mean, why is that happening?
I think that's all, part of what underwrites the Big Bang, is the eventual creation of the universe and that everything is moving away from it. But that's where it ends because we don't really know where it began either. Mm-hmm. What came before the Big Bang and what created it? We have this expansion right now. Is there a contraction again? We don't know.
That's a damn good point. I never thought about that.
I mean, we certainly know that the universe is expanding. We've observed that. And, but
now, is it expanding or that's what I want to know. Because if it's expanding, then that means there's an edge to it, right? So what's on the other side of the edge?
Yeah, I mean, this is certainly...
It's a hypothetical conversation.
But
I'm just curious.
The expansion of the universe is what helps, underpin the Big Bang theory. But I don't I don't know where it goes. I don't know what created it, what happened before it, or what happens next 14 billion years from now.
Yeah. What about black holes? What do you know about black holes?
Black holes is what happens when, really big stars eventually die. And, there is just, you basically have such an extreme amount of gravitational influence that not even light can escape from it. But then Stephen Hawking figured out some things do escape from it.
What escapes from it?
Hawking radiation, actually. It's named after him. So basically, whatever is consumed inside this black hole will slowly, over some extraordinary period of time, gradually radiate out of it, and the black hole will disappear like it was never there. That's certainly the limit of my knowledge on it. I probably butchered that up pretty good.
I just love thinking about this stuff. It's just,
yeah.
It's like I said, it's fascinating stuff.
And this is like, that's what I was saying, when I got nominated, my inbox just blew up from people all over the world that all had opinions and thoughts, and some were appreciated and some really were not. And you know what I was saying? I was like, there is no way the Secretary of Agriculture gets any emails like this. Like, it's like, I mean, but that's what's so cool about it, right? Is like, people do, no matter where you are in the world, at some point or another, you're lying back in a field and you're looking up at those stars and your mind wanders. And it's such an awesome thing, right?
Yeah, yeah. Do you think more about your companies or more about space?
Uh, well, you know, the company I started when I was 16 is what helped enable a lot of these things, a lot of these adventures I've been able to go on, my aviation career, my space career. But, you know, when I was nominated to lead NASA, I had to, you know, you have to do a lot of separation from your kind of business affairs. So my president of that company became CEO. So I'm a kind of chairman of the board now, which means like one day a week, you know, a couple weeks a quarter, I'm really involved. But the rest of the time, you know, I can be focused on other interests, which this past summer has been the first time since I was a teenager that I had no real professional obligations. It was kind of cool. And it felt really great to be able to, you know, still be young enough to have a whole new chapter, whether it was in government service or elsewhere. So yeah, I guess I'd say like, I don't put anywhere, when it was my full-time job, it had to consume the majority of my thoughts. Now it does not.
I mean, I'm just curious, business owner to business owner. I mean, did that create a tremendous amount of anxiety to walk away? I couldn't imagine just being a part of it a couple times a year.
No, because the company is in a really excellent place. There couldn't have been a better time to get nominated to go into a whole new direction in life. Like, the business is killing it. You know, we have an incredible leadership team, tons of firepower, lots of demand, good opportunity, good products. There was no better time to be able to walk away and feel like, you know, what I helped create long ago was going to remain an enduring business and a good trajectory. So no, it's not like, if this was 10 years earlier, if any other time when the company still had, an equal number of challenges and opportunities where you're like, I don't want to risk things going off course that could hurt people's jobs and livelihoods, but it's in a good place.
Good. You know, before we move into NASA too, I'm just curious, you know, how you raise your kids. I mean, it sounds like you grew up in what sounds like a middle class, everyday American home. I mean, you've obviously done very well for yourself, created a couple of empires. You've been to space. I mean, what do you hoping your kids do? How do you raise them?
I mean, you want them to be...
It's a whole different world than from what you grew up in.
You want them to be happy, healthy, and good people. And I think I owe like 99% of that to my wife. Like, I think I can take credit for very little over how awesome my kids are. My wife is amazing. Yeah, I mean, you know, you don't want to spoil them. You want them to be very appreciative for what they have in life and to, you know, look up to others that aren't as lucky or as fortunate. I mean, they, you know, again, just got dealt a great hand in life, and need to understand as early as they can that is not how it exists for a lot of others. And now they carry some weight in life to try and make it better, to elevate other people's lives. So we try to make sure we teach them that.
How do you teach them that? How do you instill those type of values in them?
I mean, from my perspective, it's to show them, you know, what the world really, you know, looks like.
No matter where you're watching the Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this at all, anything, please like, comment, and subscribe. And most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, head to Apple Podcasts and Spotify and leave us a review.